What is the most cringy pickup line you've ever heard? You ever kiss a rabbit between the ears? Me, obviously apprehensive. No. Dude turned the pockets of his jeans inside out. You wanna? If you were a transformer you'd be a Hotterbit and your name would be Optimus Fine. Hi. Maybe around 15 years ago I was at a concert in the lounge area with some friends and there was this group of women we wanted to talk to without just barging in and being those guys. Well, this one guy what near us and listening came over, put his hands on our shoulders and said, "I got this." He was a little on the heavy side and definitely goofy, but had a great energy. So we just watched him go up to the girls and go, "Excuse me ladies, but my friends and I were talking and wondering if you could help answer a question." They were a little "what the fuck and why are you interrupting us?" but proceeded to be polite and say sure. So he goes, "Do you know how much a polar bear weighs?" The looks got even weirder as they said no, and without missing a beat he goes, "Enough to break the ice. My name's Tom." I think a couple of them snorted their drinks and they were all laughing. He motioned us over to introduce ourselves, and the evening went from there. How cringy is it if it actually works? I'm still dumbfounded to this day how smooth it was. So a little background. A few co-workers and myself traveled to Nashville. Now at the time we all worked at the same nightclub. While beginning our second bar crawl down the main strip, a young guy maybe 22 approached myself and two of the other guys I was with. Shortly after, the two female bartenders we were with walked up with a round of drinks. This kid turns to them and says, "Hey girls, my name is XXXX. The guy then yells HIV free while pretending to shoot a basket and then proceeds to put his arm around one of the girls. It was the most painfully awkward experience I have witnessed. Guy I worked with, but was an ass to me for over a year. We are out together alone working on clearing corn out of a cornfield for a clear path using rakes and machetes. Why is irrelevant. He turns to me and says the woman I marry will never have to work a day in her life, but she must have sex with me 7 times every night. I laughed and told him good luck. I turned around and he was on one knee. He took my hand and asked me to marry him. Still laughing, I said no and told him to get up so we could finish. I thought he was joking. Apparently he wasn't. He started crying and the rest of the day he begged me. Eventually he told me he was going to come hunt me down after a few years, and if I wasn't married he was going to take me back to Guatemala to live on his mom's coffee farm. I quit that job shortly after that and never saw him again. In retrospect, he was probably here illegally and trying to get a green card. Guys of Reddit, what is the most embarrassing / cringy thing you've ever said or done to a girl? 2 summers ago, I came home on a break to surprise a girl I'd been seeing before I left. I brought flowers, poems, my best polo, the whole 9. Calling to make sure she was home, I made it seem like a friend of mine was dropping off a gift in a few minutes. I plopped myself down on her porch and left the flowers, extra poem, on the rocks, on her doorstep. She came out, gasped. It was magical. Then her boyfriend walked downstairs. Then her entire family. Then I went inside and pretended like I was giving gifts to all of my friends and quickly used myself out. And that's the story of my first pack of cigarettes. So I met a girl over Tinder and we ended up hooking up sometime later. She was actually really cool and I was kinda nervous around her. Anyways, a good friend of mine once joked of telling a girl she's gonna get the old lickaroo when he goes down on her. Needless to say, I said exactly that. We got intimate one night and she said talk dirty to me and I'm useless when it comes to that, and I panicked and said something along the lines of it's time for the old lickaroo. As I was going down on her, I ended up not having sex that night. One time I was talking to a girl and asked for her number. She then said, "You're not like a creepy stalker, are you?" And I just blurted out, "Well, not a creepy one." At the end of a voicemail, meant to say, "If I don't hear from you, have a nice weekend." But it came out as "If you don't call me back, have a nice life." I have a relevant story. So about a month ago I was in Central Asia and using a marshrutka, like a small bus, to get back to my host family's apartment. I'm sitting next to a nice girl. So the final stop comes and we all get off. Soon I realize that the girl is walking a little bit ahead of me and we are going in the same direction. She turns into an alley and I do as well because I live that way. She enters an apartment building through the first door and I immediately follow because I live there. So at this point I know I'm probably really freaking the poor girl out, so instead of following her to the elevator as well, I go up the stairs. Just as I get to my floor and I open the door, I look behind me to see the lift doors open and the girl stepping out of it. The look in her eyes was something that I shall never forget.